Vacation to Nowhere by Janson Davies. Chapter 1. The Road South. The motorhome was supposed to be part of the charm, a rolling fortress of family bonding, stocked with snacks, games, and the illusion of freedom. But by hour 6, the charm had curdled into claustrophobia. The father, Greg, gripped the wheel like it owed him something, his knuckles pale, his jaw locked. Beside him, his wife Marla flipped through a paper map with increasing frustration, her phone long since reduced to a glowing rectangle of no service. Behind them, chaos bloomed. 12-year-old Ellie and 10-year-old Max were locked in a passive-aggressive war over the last working tablet. The twins, barely 2, wailed in alternating bursts, their cries echoing off the faux wood paneling. The nanny, Rose, sat silently in the back, her headphones in, her gaze fixed on the blur of trees outside. She had earned this vacation, Greg had insisted. She deserved to relax. But relaxation was an illusion in motion. They had left New York City before dawn, chasing the promise of a haunted bed and breakfast nestled deep in the West Virginia mountains. The Bed and Breakfast Experience, the website had called it. A weekend of spooky charm, ghost stories, and rustic hospitality. It sounded perfect. It sounded like escape. But somewhere past the Virginia border, the GPS had faltered. The highways narrowed into winding roads, then into gravel paths, then into dirt trails that seemed to lead nowhere. Bridges appeared without warning, old and rusted, creaking beneath the weight of the motorhome. Signs were scarce, cell towers non-existent. "Are we lost?" Marla asked, her voice tight. Greg didn't answer. He squinted at the horizon where the trees grew thicker and the sky dimmed unnaturally, though it was only mid-afternoon. "We should have flown," Ellie muttered. "We should have stayed home," Max countered. The twins screamed in unison, as if agreeing. Rose finally spoke. "There's a turn up ahead. I think I saw it on the map earlier. It looked old." Greg took the turn. The motorhome groaned. The forest swallowed them whole. For the next hour, they saw no other cars, no towns, no signs of life, just the endless canopy of trees and the occasional rustle of something unseen. Then, at last, the inn appeared. It materialized from the mist like a forgotten dream. 3 stories of weathered wood, crooked shutters, and a porch that sagged like it had secrets. A faded sign swung overhead. "Welcome to the Bed and Breakfast Experience." No lights, no cars, no people. Greg parked the motorhome. The engine sputtered, then died. They stepped out into silence. No wind, no birds, just the creak of the porch and the distant hum of something static. Marla looked at Greg. "This better be worth it." He smiled, thin and forced. "It's an adventure." Rose didn't move. She stared at the inn like it was staring back. Inside, the front desk held a single note. "Welcome guests. Please grab your keys and choose any rooms. Enjoy your stay. You're the only ones here this weekend. No signature, no other instructions. Just skeleton keys and a silence that felt too deep." Greg turned to the others. "Well, let's pick our rooms." No one spoke. Outside, the forest waited. Chapter 2. Bed and Breakfast. The inn smelled of dust and damp wood, like a place that had been waiting too long to be remembered. The floorboards didn't creak, ghostly presence. The chandeliers didn't flicker. The silence wasn't haunted. It was hollow. Greg led the way, holding their skeleton keys like they meant something. Marla followed, her arms crossed, her eyes scanning the walls for signs of charm. Ellie and Max darted ahead, their curiosity briefly overpowering their boredom. Rose pushed the twins in their stroller, her expression unreadable. The rooms were unlocked. Each one was different. Victorian wallpaper peeling at the edges, antique beds with carved headboards, mirrors that seemed too old to reflect anything clearly. The twins' room had a rocking horse that moved slightly when no one was near it. Max's room had a wardrobe that smelled faintly of mildew and mothballs. Ellie's room had a doll on the shelf, porcelain and perfect, with eyes that didn't blink but somehow watched. Still, there were no ghosts, no whispers, no cold spots, just the static from the broken televisions in every room, humming like a distant warning. "This place is a scam," Ellie declared, flopping onto her bed. "I wanted spooky," Max said, "not dusty." Greg tried to rally them. "It's only the first night. Maybe they're saving the scares for later." Marla didn't respond. She was staring at the mirror in their room, watching her own reflection flicker slightly, like a bad signal. Rose knocked gently on their door. "The kids want to sleep in the motorhome. So do I." Greg frowned. "That defeats the purpose. We came here to be together, to get away." Marla raised an eyebrow. "We're still together. Just less cramped." Greg hesitated. The inn was unsettling, yes, but it was also the plan. He didn't like plans falling apart. "No," he said finally. "We stay here. One night. Let's give it a chance." They agreed reluctantly. That night the family gathered in the parlor. The fireplace was cold. The books on the shelves were all blank inside. Rose made hot cocoa from the supplies they brought. The twins fell asleep in her lap. Ellie and Max played cards. Marla read a magazine she'd already read twice. Greg stared at the static on the TV. No heavy footsteps, no maniacal laughter, no shadows moving where they shouldn't. Just silence. "I thought this was supposed to be haunted," Max said. "Maybe the ghosts are on vacation too," Ellie joked. Greg forced a laugh. "Tomorrow will be better." But outside, the forest didn't move, the wind didn't blow, and the sky, though dark, held something strange. Two faint moons, barely visible, like bruises on the night. Chapter 3. The Empty Night. The morning arrived without birds singing. No rooster crow, no rustling leaves, just the same static hum from the televisions, still flickering in every room despite being unplugged. The twins were the first to stir, their cries echoing through the hallway like sirens in a tunnel. Rose soothed them with practiced ease, but even she looked tired, more than tired, uneasy. Greg tried the landline in the lobby. Dead. No dial tone, no buzz. Just silence. Marla stood by the window, staring out at the gravel road. "No cars," she said. "No tire tracks. No signs anyone's been here in days." Ellie and Max were already dressed, backpacks slung over their shoulders. "Can we go to Disney World now?" Ellie asked. "This place is boring." Greg nodded. "Let's pack up. We'll head south. We'll make it fun." Marla pulled out her phone to make reservations. No signal. She tried Greg's. Nothing. Rose's. Dead. Even the emergency satellite phone Greg had packed, just in case, was fried. They rushed outside to the motorhome. Greg climbed in, turned the key. Nothing. Not even a click. He popped the hood. The battery was intact, but the wires looked scorched. Melted. As if something had passed through them, something not electrical. Rose checked the backup generator. It was cold, lifeless. Ellie looked up. "Why are there two moons?" They all turned their gaze skyward. There they were, two pale orbs, one larger than the other, hanging in the daylight like forgotten gods. The sun still shone, but the light felt wrong, thin, filtered. Marla whispered, "Greg, where are we?" He didn't answer. A low rumble rolled across the hills. Not thunder, not wind, something deeper, something angry. Max pointed. Storm's coming. The clouds were unnatural, greenish-black, swirling like ink in water. Lightning forked sideways, not down. The trees bent away from it, as if afraid. They debated shelter again. The inn's solid, Greg said. It's built to last. The motorhome's familiar, Marla countered. We know it. Rose spoke softly. I'll stay with the twins. Wherever you go. They chose the motorhome. They locked the doors, drew the curtains, sat in silence. Chapter 4. The Uninvited. Then came the shapes. Tall, slender, winged. They moved like shadows circling the motorhome, tapping gently at the windows. Not knocking. Testing. Ellie screamed. Max clutched his sister's hand. Rose held the twins close, whispering prayers in Polish. Greg stared out through a crack in the curtain. Those aren't ghosts. Marla joined him. Her voice was barely audible. They're not human. The largest shape descended from the sky, a ship but not a ship. Half metal, half flesh. Its surface pulsed like a heartbeat, its underside opened like a mouth. Greg stepped back. We may not be on Earth anymore. No one spoke. Outside, the creatures began to bang harder. Inside, the family waited for rescue, for revelation, for something to make sense. But nothing did. Chapter 4. Not Earth. The banging grew louder. Not rhythmic, not human. It was erratic, primal, like claws on metal, like hunger made audible. The motorhome shuddered with each strike. The twins wailed. Rose held them tighter, whispering lullabies that sounded more like spells. Greg paced. We can't stay here. Marla stared at the ceiling where the skylight glowed faintly, as if reacting to the presence outside. We can't go back to the inn either. Ellie and Max sat on the floor, backpacks clutched to their chests. What do they want? Max asked. They haven't spoken, Ellie said. They haven't even looked at us. Greg turned to Rose. Can you run with the twins? Rose nodded. I'll push the stroller. Fast as I can. Marla grabbed the emergency bag. We head for the road. There was a bridge. If we cross it, maybe we can find someone. Anyone. Greg peeked through the curtain. The creatures had retreated slightly, circling the motorhome like vultures waiting for weakness. Now, he said. They burst out the door. The air was thick, electric. The storm above twisted like a living thing, tendrils of lightning reaching sideways, not down. The two moons still hung in the sky, watching. They ran. Rose pushed the stroller with terrifying speed, her legs pumping like pistons. Greg and Marla flanked her, guiding Ellie and Max down the gravel road. Behind them, the creatures shrieked, high-pitched, metallic, like radios dying. The bridge loomed ahead, old, rusted, wooden planks warped with age. It stretched across a deep ravine, the kind that swallowed sound and light. It shouldn't have held their weight, but it did. They crossed, breathless. Behind them, the creatures paused. They didn't follow. They didn't fly. They simply shrieked, high-pitched, metallic, like radios dying. The family didn't stop. Greg looked back. The motorhome was surrounded. The creatures converged, their limbs stretching, their wings folding inward. Then, in a burst of light and sound, the motorhome was gone, consumed in a flash of alien fire. They ran until the bridge was behind them, until the forest thinned, until the storm faded. Chapter 5. Crossing over. Then, like a mirage, they saw it. A patrol car, parked at the roadside. A man inside, sipping coffee, reading a newspaper. Greg approached, breathless. Help us! The officer blinked. Where did you come from? The inn, Marla said. The Bed and Boofest. The officer frowned. That place burned down last year. Wildfire took everything. This whole area's been closed since. Greg looked back. The bridge they'd crossed was gone. Just a ravine now. No structure, no path. "But we crossed it," Ellie said. "We saw it." The officer shook his head. "There's nothing there." He radioed for a transport vehicle. When a small rental bus arrived, the family climbed into it, silent. As they rode north, back toward civilization, back toward the known, Greg leaned back and whispered, "I think we can kiss the deposit on the motorhome goodbye." Chapter 6. Something in the Static. Back in New York, the city felt louder than ever. Honking taxis, shouting pedestrians, the comforting chaos of home. The family returned to their apartment in the Upper West Side, grateful for the noise, the crowds, the concrete certainty of urban life. When anyone asked where they spent their vacation, they all had the same pat answer: nowhere. The twins slept soundly for the first time in days. Ellie and Max returned to school, their stories of a boring staycation falling on deaf ears. Rose resumed her routine, quieter than before, her eyes lingering too long on the sky. Greg filed the insurance claim for the motorhome. "Electrical fire," he wrote. "Total loss." No one questioned it. Marla tried to forget. She deleted the photos from the trip. She threw away the map. She stopped looking at the moon. But something had changed. The televisions in their apartment began to flicker. Not often, just once or twice a day. Static for a few seconds. Then normal. The baby monitor in the twins' room picked up strange frequencies. Clicks, hums, whispers, in a language no one recognized. Ellie complained that her tablet kept showing a strange symbol when it powered on. A circle split by a jagged line. She drew it for Greg. He didn't recognize it, but it felt familiar. One night, Max woke up screaming. "I saw them," he said, "outside the window." Greg checked. Nothing there, but the glass was warm, too warm. Rose packed her bags the next morning. "I'm sorry," she said. "I need to go." Marla begged her to stay. Rose shook her head. "They don't stay in one place. They follow." Greg installed new locks, new cameras, new lights. None of it helped, because late one night, as the family sat watching a movie, the screen flickered. The sound warped, the image twisted, and for a moment, just a moment, they saw it. The alien ship, hovering, waiting, watching. Then the screen went dark, and the static returned. The end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, please hit the bell icon for notifications. Thank you.